always thought, like, how is George this amazing secret that like the world doesn't know about in martial arts? And Tony, I stumbled upon a video. Actually, it was on YouTube. It wasn't a video, oddly. It was just audio only. But in it, Tony's talking to another martial artist about fighting skills and stuff, and he says, "Yeah, there's this dude in Michigan. You're Michigan too, aren't you, Tony?"
No, actually, I'm in Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Okay, how did you meet George then?
Well, as my wife had just said, and I was trying to leave the room so that
I know
nobody was interrupting. I met George because I was going to Michigan for a seminar that I was putting on, and he happened to attend that seminar. And the video that you're talking about, it was that I was being inducted into the Masters Hall of Fame. And that was an interview that I was doing with the people who got me into the Masters Hall of Fame. So I was telling them about George Pogacich while they're interviewing me for the Masters Hall of Fame. It was really funny because,
but that's
normally.
That's humility.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
awesome. That's awesome. So Tony, you are
he's
what degree?
Fantastic.
Yeah. What degree black belt? I mean, I've been in this
I'm
world
a 10th
forever.
degree black belt, which is called a Grandmaster in the art of Kenpo karate.
The art of Kenpo. And guys that don't know Tony, thanks for giving me a few minutes here today. Tony's he's got a few videos online, and guys, he's speedy. I loved watching those videos.
He's here.
So tell me, you've had the honor, and I'm not joking. Us martial artists get it. You've had the honor of being hit by George. Explain kind of like what it felt like.
Okay, let me explain in this way. Like I said before, I have been hit by some of the best out there. I've been hit by Grandmaster Ed Parker. I've been hit by Grandmaster Paul Mills. I've been hit by some of the best people out there. I can just go on and on about that, but that doesn't mean anything. When he hit me, it was the hardest I had ever been hit in my entire life. And he didn't put anything into it. It wasn't like he had to reach way back and assert himself to hit me. It looked like he just reached out and kind of tapped me. And at first, that's kind of how I was thinking. Yeah, this ain't gonna, And the next thing I know, I'm on the ground. I don't go to the ground. I've never been that kind of person that you can hit me and drive me to the ground. And I did. I just crumpled. Yeah, I'm not tiny, not by any means. And back then I was even bigger. I was 6'2", 280 pounds and very, very solid.
I saw a picture of your like a crab pose, all the muscle. You're a ball of muscle too. Yeah.
Yeah, not anymore. I'm just a wall of a lot thinner right now, which is great because I'm just trying to be healthy, but and not be, bulking or anything. But and actually George helped me in that respects too. Watching George not have to put a whole bunch of pressure, energy, or anything like that into his punch. And I had to ask him, all right, exactly how'd you do that? And he taught me quite a bit about it. It's applicable even in Kenpo to utilize what he taught me from his system of Sistema. And so even now my thinking is completely different. In the martial arts, we're taught to hit with our body. We're taught you step forward to build momentum, and momentum turns into power as you push that punch out from your body. And George is like, yeah, and that'll only get you a certain amount of power. The locomotive is actually the fist, as he explained to me and showed me. And I don't want to go into too great a detail because I don't want to give away all of his secrets. Those are his, not mine.
That is awesome,
it has actually augmented my system immensely.
Wow.
And,
yeah. That's cool, man. What a great cheer. I thank you because I'm flat out. I'm just trying to help George just become a little bit more known out there. And this was one of the things that I wanted to do. I said,
yeah, please, because he's so magnificent. He is a wonderful person, not just martial artist. He's a wonderful person. But it's so hard to convey what he does because I kid you not, it looks like magic. It's crazy. Yeah. When you're looking at it, you're thinking, there's no way that this is going, oh, look, I have no arm now. And that's exactly how it felt. Just one little tiny block from him, and it's like my arm just shut off.
But like George said, he said, well, whip strikes are great. He said, but it takes time to wind them up. He said, you need to be able to deliver from, you happen to have your fist here, the guy's face is here. You need to be able to deliver it just in that little bit. You can't take the time to wind up. So like you
Right.
said, the locomotive is the fist, right? And it's so
Mhm.
yeah, I appreciate that. That's awesome. So and George hits harder than a beep, and I don't even. I mean, there's
Oh
no
yeah.
doubt about it.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
George's punches are just amazing.
yeah.
I don't have words that could actually go ahead and describe them for anybody. It did. I had a protruding bruise, and I mean that, a protruding bruise on my stomach where he had hit me for over a week. I don't bruise. I have students who would gladly come on here and tell you I've hit him as hard as I can, and it doesn't phase him. He doesn't bruise. Yeah, I
Did you
did that day.
did you happen to have the opposite? Did George let you haul off and hit him?
Um, yeah, George let me haul off and hit him that day too. And I might as well have been hitting Superman. It had absolutely no effect on him.
Yes.
And all he did was the barest little bend over, and he let me hit him right in the stomach. And he's like, "Go ahead, anything you want." I'm like, "No, man, dude, I drop people left and right.
Yes.
I drop people like bad habits all the time." So I'm sitting here thinking, "Okay, how do you want me to hit you?" He goes, "Any way you want." So I did a front thrusting punch into his stomach. Nothing. He did the barest little movement, a little bit of growl, and he just kind of looks at me and he's like, "Okay, is that it?" "No, that's not even close to it." But he's like, "No, go ahead, hit me. I can take it. I promise." So I turned sideways. I gave him a hammer fist. Now, I'm sorry, but in the Kenpo system, our hammer fists are pretty much our signatures. That's the movement that we know. If we give you a hammer fist, especially like this, when we bring that puppy out and we hit with that, it's going to dig deep. It's going to hit hard, and we can get that front foot into it. We can get the stomping motion. We get so much body mechanics in behind this. There's no way I'm not going to drop it, right? That's what's going through my head. I got every bit of all of the body mechanics that I've been taught for 40 years, and he barely budged. I'm
Oh
like,
man.
oh.
And you
And the
know,
lady that I was with at the time, I hate to say this, but this is true. The lady that I was with at the time was actually trying to get he and I into a fight because she really wanted to see who would win. And I'm
yeah.
like, I can't stop him.
Yeah. My one instructor, the guy's like, fourth degree black belt or something. And I kept telling him, I'm like, "Hey man, after class today, why don't you come on over and meet my instructor, George, on Sistema?" And he's like, "Oh, come on. No. Finally, one day he's like, okay. First and last time that guy ever met George, because
Yeah.
as I share the framework, and you know what's great, Tony, is that you have the humility and the I'm going to say the lack of ego, if you will, because it is to me, to be able to share that this guy is world class and people should know about him. And all my years of training, I still couldn't punch as hard as him. You're willing to profess all that. This guy, he just kind of turned and never came back. And I thought to
I
myself,
would
he
never.
buried his head in the sand that
Yeah,
decided,
that's
I'm
too
not going to
bad.
try to. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
That's absolutely sad. How can you convince yourself that you have something better when you have
Yeah.
physical proof of how good it is? It makes no sense. See,
Yes.
I'm a Christian above all other things. I'm a Christian. And faith is something that you have and something that you haven't even beheld. Well, I beheld this, I felt it. And there's a saying that goes along in Kenpo. It's to see is to doubt, to hear is to be deceived, but to feel is to believe. I believe, I felt it. I don't need any other convincing whatsoever. I 100% felt his power, and he wasn't even giving it. It was
Yeah.
power before he even gave me any oomph to it. So there's no reason for me not to admit it. That would be
Yeah.
folly.
Yeah.